Welcome to this episode of the Picturehub show. Today I have the living legend.
I knew it, guys.
Mutamangira.
I knew someday someone was going to call me a legend.
Just fill in the blanks.
Right.
So it's Prayersoul is ...
A legend. I'm getting used to it. Prayersoul is an entertainer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's the first thing.
Okay.
That's the core of everything that I do. So everything else kind of then spins off from there because of either a certain need or something that I find interesting at the time or something that just found me and then I got into it.
Okay.
But the core of who I am is
okay. So I was good at
good and when I walk at 6 by 5 p.m. That's
sort of fire. So I know you in wearing different hats.
Okay.
And I'd like you to kind of
get into those.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So the first thing is I'm a singer-songwriter. I sing. I've got a band. I write songs, and quite recently, writing songs for other artists as well.
Oh wow!
So that's really cool. I've got some music that's like being bought by a South African company. So I'm excited about that. And then I also run an events company called The Cookout. We've got a monthly event. We have a holiday event called The Cookout Weekend. And we've also got a new event that we're launching late 2021. So okay. I can't exactly give out those details, but look out for it, guys. And then something that's a bit less public is obviously the workshop that we did and you attended, which is where I do workshops for creatives basically, and we sort of help each other out in terms of charting the course, because being a creative in Africa is something that it's not something that's been there for like 20 years or 30 years and people are so experienced in it. So it's something that we sort of learn as we go, and once I've experienced success in something I can sort of give notes on this and that. So I'm excited about this in the backdrop, man, like these kind of things and having conversations about what creatives should be doing and how we should just be moving forward as young African people. For me is I'm very passionate about that. So those are some of the things that I do. I'm also a father, married man, father of 2 and
okay, cool. So I know you speak lots of languages. How many languages do you speak?
Right now I'm at English, Shona, Ndebele, and a bit of German, and I'm at 4.
4. Wow. Where did you go to school?
Hey, you see this cool thing. I was born in Bulawayo, so I'm a Bulawayo boy originally. And then I went to Makete Primary School, and then transferred when my mom got a job in Mashingo. So I'm also like a Mashingo boy as well. Then I was for one term I was at a school called Don Bosco. And then after that term I went to a school called Helen McGee. Don Bosco I always go up down like And then I went to Helen McGee. And then after Helen McGee I went to Victoria High School. After Victoria High School I was at Mashingo Christian College for a year, for 2 years, and I flunked my A's. Then my mom knew I was smart. She was like, you were lazy. So she took me to Selima Mission, which is a Catholic school. Such a brilliant experience for me. And then I was in boarding school there at Selima Mission for a year. So I just did 1 year of my A's. Then I passed my A's. Then I went to Great Zimbabwe University. I studied BSc Social Science. And I majored in Sociology and Development. Wow. So when I meet people, I'm like profiling them. So I have a file for Costa, and I'm like, Costa's a perfectionist, shampoos his head 2 times a week.
Wow.
So that's my school journey.
Okay. So one of the reasons why I asked is, I'm sure you've had or have been part of this debate in 1 or 2 of your circles where people ask the value of the value of art in school. Right. So where did the spark come from? When you look back, was it because of a family member? Was it because of school? Was it the environment? It's the internet?
You mean for me to like start the creative journey?
Yes,
I think it was. It's a very interesting question, actually, Kosa. This is a good question. These are quality questions. I think the influence of media is something that we just really downplay still. I think it was a lot of TV. Just watching magical moments where, you know, Michael Jackson goes on stage and like we all watched Bucharest, live. And that planted a lot of inspiration in young people. Because whenever someone achieves something, it's a sign to say it's possible. So then you inspire a lot of people. And I guess that's why I always want to spread myself and just do as much as I can. Because I always feel like once I achieve it, or once you've done Picturehub show, people already start having an idea of, oh, we could do our own, or whatever. You know what I mean? So I'm inspired by this now to start my own, you know? And I feel like that's how my creativity was sparked. But it was very internal. Because I wasn't as confident when I was a kid, I was very shy. You know, I would be comfortable with my people, but I was generally very shy.
So when was the first time you picked up? What came first, you singing or you picking up a guitar?
It was the singing, actually.
Oh, okay.
The singing started. I've been listening to a lot of American music, American R&B, like most people. And I remember singing. So my cousin at the time she was like 14, 15. Yeah, and I was like 17, 18, around that time. So I think the spark for singing is what came first. And this was with my cousin. So my cousin was she was like a proper teen, like very difficult, very snobbish. And she would never pay a compliment to anybody. Because she thought she was on top of the world. And so it was very hard for her to say anything nice, you know, and I know she's going to argue with me about this, but one day I'm in the bathroom and I'm singing Cisco. I was singing one of Cisco's songs. What was it? Without you, girl, my life is incomplete. Oh, yeah. Without you, girl, my life is incomplete. And I'm singing it note for note. And then she comes to me, she's like, dude, you can sing. She's like, you could be like international. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, really? So I knew I could sing, but I thought I could sing like anybody else. Until she said that, because it was very hard for her to say anything like that. And then during that same time, we went to church, and then some guy was singing my carols. Carols night. Said carols night. My face in the van way in Bashama. Face I'm going to be. But I was really okay. But I face came in the bus screaming.
Okay.
I could get more screams than that. So then I was just like, you know what? Maybe I can actually sing, because I think I can do much better than that. So I then decided to just try it out. But I was pretty much an academic until like late A level, when I was like a bit more playful. So I was pretty smart at school, and so the music thing was something that I felt like I would always then do. I've got money, and I get a job, and then I've got money, and then I'm gonna pursue the music. And that's pretty much how it started. So in church, I then just signed up for guitar lessons, and then I started playing the guitar. And it was great for me to learn to sing, because it wasn't too far apart. Discovering the singing and then picking.
Because I hear it's hard to coordinate, like singing and.
Yes, it's something you have to learn. It's something you have to. So you can be just a pure singer, and you're not so used to singing with instrumentation. So you have to learn that skill, because it's a separate skill.
Okay.
But if you learn, if you're a aspiring singer, if you're a singer, the best thing for you is to learn at least one instrument.
Okay.
Because then it helps your singing, and it helps you to communicate what you want to say to a band or a producer or just to to perform.
Okay. So like for me, I remember the girls thing. Right. As well.
Right.
I remember there's a time when you performed at some function and I was there and there were a lot of chicks and I was like, yo, this guy. I was like, yeah. I don't even think the preacher can top this own. It's just, but also I like you can sing, bruh. Ish.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Thank you. You're very talented.
Thank you.
And I just kind of followed your journey online, but I'm sure there's more to it than what we see online.
Absolutely. I haven't been doing a good job with my online content. I've just started fixing it now.
Yeah. So for me, what was your most memorable performance?
This performance is like very vivid in my imagination because it was the biggest crowd I'd ever performed for. There was a time where there were floods in Europe. I don't know if you remember that. It must have been 2017, 2018, around about that time. And I'd gone on tour in Germany. And we were in a city called Passau, beautiful city that's close to a lake. Or rather, it's close to a river. And so the floods naturally there were like very high. And we had just gotten there, I think 2 hours after the recovery of the floods. But these were bad, like you could see the water lines from our roofs in Zimbabwe.
Wow.
It was bad. So the mood of the city was just, people have lost property, investments, and people are starting over and whatnot. So it was a pretty rough time. And the advantage is we would get this kind of information, so it would sort of help you in terms of preparing your set as well to know. Okay. So they had a festival, and this was the first festival after the floods. The festival cost I had 3,000 people.
Wow.
So they just came to me in the green room, and they're like, prayer. So and I was touring with the band. I was touring with the band called Jamaram. So I was on their tour schedule as the opening act. So wherever we went, I would be the opening act, and I would get like 20 minutes. And they're like, prayer. This show is going to be great. It's probably going to be one of our biggest crowds. It's 3,000 people. You're going to do 20 minutes. There's a bit more time. So do your thing, bro. And I was like, sorry. 3,000.
Before that, how big were the crowds you're doing?
1,000.
Yeah.
1,000. I mean,
3
average,
times.
because this band is also like a big band, so which was great for me because they basically just introduced me to their audience.
Yeah.
And so I was able to also pick up a small little tour afterwards, which is what I've been doing in the last couple of years.
Okay.
Because there's some venues that they really liked my performance, so they'd call me back and I'd do small concerts and stuff. And sometimes I still also go on tour with Jamram here and there. So the average attendance for a concert is about 500 to 1,000 or 1,500. That's like normal.
Yeah.
So this was pretty special. So it was 3,000, and you could see it. So the green room and where we were performing, where we were changing and whatnot, and getting ready, was a building behind the audience. So from the balcony, you would see the audience and the stage.
Okay.
And you'd see whoever sound checking, performing, or whatever from the balcony. So when people arrived and they were like, and then I checked. When they told me about 3,000, I went and checked, and I'm like, sweating. My and then, dude, it was phenomenal. They loved it.
Wow.
They loved it, and I think it was just also a merging of getting out of the whole floods experience and going to a festival and great music. And so I did a couple of, I did one of my songs called It's Gonna Be Alright, like, a lot of hopeful, happy mood type of music. And that was phenomenal. I even got some people on stage to come and sing and dance and whatever, so it was pretty cool.
Wow.
That was my memorable
Okay, so this one, I put them back to back.
Right.
What's the biggest mistake you've ever made?
The biggest mistake I ever made on stage?
No.
Or life?
Life.
How much time?
We don't have time.
How much time do you have? The biggest mistake I ever made. Shucks. Do you have a rating on this? Let me see.
Okay.
The biggest mistake, I would say, Shucks, man.
There are too many.
How much time do you spend designing these questions? I would say, okay, the first thing that came to my mind was like, in terms of music and stuff. And the first...
It has to be one.
It has to be one?
Yes.
Shucks.
It has to be one. Just pick one.
Okay, I'll think of the most recent thing that I did. I mean, it's such a careless thing, and it's happened to me at least maybe 3 times. I lose things. Like I can lose money. Like I lost $700 a couple of weeks ago. So I was going to go and I was actually going to. So I run one of my many caps. I run a small farming project called Donovan's.
Yes.
Right, and that's that's my eggs and chickens thing. So I'm trying to start small and whatever. So I put some money aside. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to invest some more, get more chickens so we can boost our capacity because the demand is high, blah, 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 blah. On that day, I'm going to go and buy the chickens. So I've got my money in my wallet. A wallet that just keeps cash. But I separate my cash. I've got cash for this and cash for that and cash for that and cash for that. So I had like Donovan's money, then my personal money, which I just used, and then I had some other money. I don't know what it was. Like,
Where's this wallet? I think the people.
Then I have like my little. Do I have it? I have it somewhere. Yeah, I have it somewhere in my bag, where I just keep my ID, driver's license, medical aid, blah blah blah. So I always carry the 2. I'm delivering eggs because this is lockdown. So I've got a letter to do that, and then I deliver eggs at a friend's office. But when I'm delivering them, I just take out my ID and my wallet because I don't want to keep it in the car because I'm going to go inside and have a chat. So I take my stuff and I put it on top of the car. And then I go around to get the eggs. And then they're like, oh, no, your friends are not in. It's like, I can just take the eggs. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So let me dash because I need to go and I need to go and pay for something. So I give him the eggs and then he's like, yeah, so otherwise how are you doing? Oh, no, I'm good. Blah, blah, blah. Just busy with the deliveries and then going to pick up some more cash somewhere and then the place where I pay for my chicken stuff and whatever. And he's like, okay, cool. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm actually running late. I need to go.
Yeah.
Because someone had said, hey, your money's ready. Yeah. When someone says your money is ready,
go ipapo.
So I'm like, guys, you need to buy. So boom, jump into the car, reverse, boom, gone.
Yeah.
And this was in the avenues. Right.
You're not going to find it. You are not going
to. So I drive around.
Do you know, it probably disappeared before you even drove off.
That's very possible. So I drove off, went to the place where I was told, madly ready.
Yeah.
I go, yo, what's up? Get my cash, boom, jump into the car. I go to Maybarain. And then I'm there and I'm like, right, I need to get to World Remit to get some, because some of my clients are overseas clients. I need to go and pick up cash, then go. So I'm like, World Remit, I need my ID for that. Hey, guys. I'm like, wait, where's my wallet? Where is my wallet with the cash? Then I could just see myself putting everything on top of the car and reversing. And I was like,
shucks.
Then I said some words that I can't repeat on TV. And then I drove back, but it was too late. Then a week later, someone calls me and says, I picked your particulars, your ID and your...
Of course. I'm going to Chira.
Imagine. And it was about 600, almost $700. And I was
wow.
Like, so that...
that sucks.
Those moments, I've had a couple of those moments. For me, and they really get to me, man. Like I'm very, like I pick up myself quickly. So by the end of the day, I already made $50 because I was like, yo, the money's gone. Let's make peace with it. Let's keep moving.
Yeah.
I need to work. I can't go.
What did your wife say though?
Dude, it was a very difficult conversation. Exactly. Baby, how? And I'm like, hey, I told you how. On top of the car. Go on. That was, those for me are like, the silly mistakes that I really wish I could take back.
Okay, so I'm like an introvert, and for me, I'm very comfortable. Like I'm too comfortable by myself. You know, and sometimes I think it's got its pitfalls. Like sometimes you overthink things.
100%.
You know,
100%.
you really overanalyze things, and I've had this debate in my mind, you know, for a very long time. You know how sometimes we always, like, if there's a movie, or watching a movie, you always think you're the good guy.
Yeah.
You know, you always imagine yourself being the great guy.
Being the good guy, of course.
So in my head, sometimes I think, what if I'm Thanos? You know, what if I'm the bad guy? You know, and I have this debate a lot, and I can say maybe one of the benefits of thinking like this for me has been, I think I try to be considerate as much as I can, because in my mind I'm thinking, okay, what if I'm the problem? You know.
Right. Which is a strength, and which is something that I think is very rare.
Yeah.
I think it's rare just in people generally.
So one of your songs that I like is that "Fix Me" song.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like, what's your take on just the whole? What if you're the bad guy?
What if you're the bad guy? Yeah. You know what, Costa? There's a thing that I feel needs to be said about African men. African men can get away with things.
Yeah.
Like, if we were to be real and to be bluntly honest, we can get away with it.
That's true.
We can get away with, you know what, I borrowed money from Costa and then I paid half of it and then I just said, Sha, imagine those okupa.
I want on Tinetsa.
Hey, Sha.
What on Tinetsa, Sha?
You know what I mean? And we get away with being unfaithful. We get away with, no, you know what, things happened and it was a weak moment, blah, 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 I'm sorry. We get away with, Costa says, you know, I've got a short temper, so I really don't like people doing this or crossing my path. Yeah. And then we all now, as your friends, now we have to kind of like walk around knowing that Costa's got a short temper. Yeah. And yet it's something that we can be like, Costa,
just change.
This is really not necessary. Like, you can't be angry about this.
Yeah, that's true.
You know? And I feel like we just don't have a strong culture of accountability.
Yeah, that's
generally,
true.
Like just generally as a society, as African men, we just don't learn that. So if you happen to have the right circle of friends and they also feed into your habits, you're going to come and be like, hey guys, I'm tempted, there's this chick, but
Faisa Madiri.
And then you also then think, oh, okay, maybe actually, you know,
kind of reinforce that bad.
So it's like there's so many things that we can get away with, and I felt like I was at that space when I wrote the song "Fix Me," because I was like, and I do that a lot. I also take time to self-introspect. Yeah, and at the time I just thought to myself, I could easily just be a bad person. And just do wrong things and still keep going, and no one's really coming to say, why are you doing this?
Yeah, that's true.
Don't you think this is wrong? Don't you think this has got repercussions to your kids? Don't you think this is going to be bad for you a couple of years from now? You know, so being able to actually go into that space is maturity in itself. And to then have a conversation is like another level. But I just feel like it's just something that I felt, if I do a song that's talking about men saying we need to fix ourselves, it's going to be a completely different narrative. And women love that song. You guys need to fix yourself. Yes. You know, and they're not angels themselves. But I mean, it's a general song. It's not really for men. It's just that I wrote it as a man. Because in the second verse, I start off by saying, imagine if your daughter fell in love with someone like you.
They'd be lucky.
Exactly. So you'd actually then think it sort of makes you see yourself in a completely clear space because only you have to answer the question. If your daughter fell in love with someone like you.
Do you know, I feel like as men, especially in our country, we really need to have a sit down, you know, like a timeout, a proper men's conference. Because do you know there are lots of messed up things that happen. Just let's put politics aside. Let's put your favorite soccer team aside, whatever. Just as men, you know, there's so many messed up things that happen, you know, and I feel like we really need to have a sit down. And while we're on this question, I think one of my questions is, in your mind or in your life, who would you say is the most manliest person you know?
My dad.
You were?
Yeah. My father. My father's the manliest man I know.
Okay. Why do you say that?
Because he's very masculine, but he can be very vulnerable. And he's never afraid to be in a place where he's ignorant about something. And he's the most optimistic person I know. I'm very optimistic. But my dad is like levels.
Okay, give me an example.
Like on his hardest days, he's broke, his investment didn't go well or whatever. He'll come home and we won't know from his mood.
Wow.
You won't know. His vibe is just, yo, what's up guys? How you guys doing? What's going on? Yeah, no, this thing didn't work out. You know, these things happen.
Keep it
all
moving.
we have to do is just keep it moving because these things happen. But now that we've, gone through this, now we've learned that this is what happens. And so, and then he was very candid about his mistakes, to me especially. And because of that, it then forced me to be a person who's very responsible for my actions. So I can't, because I've grown up seeing all of this. So it's very difficult for me to like deviate from that. And maybe because I'm a social scientist, in my mind, I'm just like, when you grow up seeing something, it becomes so much a part of you, it's hard for you to completely go off the rails. You're gonna, be your own person, but at the core, you'll have these essentials.
Essential services.
Yeah, essential services, exactly. So for me, my dad is definitely that, because he can be honest with, I was wrong, and there was, I have to tell you this story. I remember having the masculinity conversation with my mom, and I said, women need to understand that they're women, they're below us. And I was young and stupid, and I was like, you know what, Mama? Women are women. They need to submit, because I'm from a Christian family, so this whole submission thing was big. And then I'm talking to my mom, and my mom's like, yeah, but you need to understand, Kuti, when you're married now, the day you get married, you're going to be partners. You're going to be equals. And you have to build something together. And life is really about building good relations. So that even when you make a mistake, or when you're the one who's on the downside, it could be money, it could be whatever it is. You always need to have good relations with people, so that on the day that I need help from Costa, I should be able to get it. And that's built over time. It doesn't just happen, it's built over time. So we're at the dinner table. We were big on this whole dinner table and having someone at the same time, whatever. And I don't know what happened. And we had just had the conversation like in the morning or something. And then this is Maneru. And then my family speaks English and Ndebele and Shona all at the same time. And I don't know what had happened. And then my mom said something. And then my dad was like, no. That's not what's going to happen. It's not going to happen. I said it and it's final. And then I looked at my mom and I was like... And then my mom looks at me and she goes... She continues eating. So in my head, I'm just like, yo, that submission thing is for real. And then, Costa, following night, dinner table, Shamar. Tukuro dinner. Then my dad says, guys, I just wanted to say, I want to apologize for my behavior. The way I spoke to your mom yesterday, it was a bit too much. I wasn't supposed to do that. It wasn't an issue. You could shout down like that. And then my mom just looked at me like, I was like, right.
Yes.
And then, from that day, she never really sat me down to say, so I spoke to your dad. It just hit me that you have to have good relations, even if you have disagreements.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's just an important thing. It's also the whole accountability thing that we're talking about. So for me, I really learned these lessons very quickly. So I really love to meet people, build relationships, because I know that the amount of things that we can do by just sharing ideas, you know, I mean, like you attended one workshop and there's the Picturehub show is a reality,
that's
you
true.
know, and when I watched it, I'm like, Costa, this is brilliant. And I'm thinking, you know, I've got a different idea for a TV show, but Costa will be able to help me. And now it's like, there's so much stuff we're doing. There's so many people we're going to employ in the journey, and there's so many other young kids we're going to inspire. So being able to just maintain good relations has so many benefits over time. So,
and you know what? I have a story about that. So my personal belief is, like, I really believe like in relationships, and I believe that there's no such thing as a permanent enemy. We might have like differences in opinion now, but that does not mean, in my books, that we will never work together in the future. Do you know there's so many times where like we are people, we are evolving. Like when I look at my work like maybe 2-3 years ago, I feel like I'm doing better work now than I was doing then. And it's the same 3 years before that. And I think sometimes we don't consciously realize that when we have fights, sometimes it's our fault. And sometimes it's because our knowledge was not where it was supposed to be, you know. And acknowledging that, you then realize that, look, maybe that person was justified to treat me the way they treated me, you know. And then maybe imagine you're holding on to a grudge, but it's based off
old information
and things that probably you played a part in, and just maybe you just don't acknowledge your role in it.
True.
You know. Talking about relationships, threesome. Diana Gatia, threesome zita rinoita. Now that you say that, I feel like you're the one who said, guys, it's not a fight.
Hey, there's Alex, the Zulu rock star on that show. You must know. Alex is a great thinker in terms of creative concepts and stuff. And he was like, threesome is perfect. And I was like, threesome? No, guys.
You could even tell, like, just my response, sometimes you're like, okay.
You're like, what? Yeah, he's an over the top, almost inappropriate, almost all the time. And I'm just like, Alex, you can't say that. Go tone it down a little bit, you know? But then, I mean, he sometimes says the stuff that we think about. So, threesome came from 3 awesome people. So we were discussing the 3 awesome people, then he was like, threesome. I was like, but it sounds nice. And then Dagaro and effort.
Okay.
Was like, that is fine.
So like, and to your wife, no, and Rukwenda for threesome.
Exactly. Then I was just like, exactly. So now I was just like, you know what? Let it be known that I will always deny that I didn't like this thing. And then they're like, it's fine. We can go with that. It's okay. That can be your story. I was like, okay, fine. I mean, Threesome is it's a podcast show that we do. It's inspired by the Breakfast Club because they have really key conversations about American culture, and we thought, you know, we've definitely got like stuff to talk about and things like that. So I was excited to jump on it. Alex is the one who really come up with, let's do this, and I was like, I can come on board for that. So it's off to a great start. We've done the second and third episode. Those should be coming out, I think, in about a week or 2. And I mean, it's the response that we're getting is really cool.
I like the content.
I
really like the content.
Thank you. Yeah, and we also try to keep it very real. So it's not not motivational or like.
That's what I like, and I feel like even the hosts
Yeah.
You know, I feel like you kind of balance each other out.
Yeah.
And also call each other out.
Yeah.
Cool. So this is the last segment.
Right.
It's a new segment.
Okay.
So rapid fire. Yeah. Ga 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 ga.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Favorite place in Zim that you.
Vumba.
Okay, you've been to Vumba.
Yeah.
And favorite place in Zim that you would like to go.
Kariba.
The place that you've never been.
Kariba.
What?
I've never been to Kariba. I mean, I'm going there in 2 weeks.
What?
Oh, I can say this because this is going to air later.
Yeah.
We're doing the cookout weekend. The next cookout weekend is in Kariba.
Okay.
So I'm going to Kariba for the first time.
That will be dope.
Yeah, that's going to be dope. That's going to be dope.
Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite place to eat in Zim?
Favorite place to eat in Zim is Pariah Avenue. They have a brisket steak that they do with fries. Bro, the best.
Jesus.
It's the best meal. Like, I can't think of anything else that I would love to eat. Like, if someone says, yo, just go out for lunch, I'm like, Pariah Avenue.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And then favorite place that you would like to eat that you've never been to here in Zim?
I've never been.
But you've never actually been around.
But I would say, I think Little Italy. I haven't had their pasta.
Yeah, it's Dara.
I haven't had their pasta. I actually haven't had a meal at Little Italy. I've done the performances there.
Yeah.
And I keep saying I want to go there. That's where I want to go.
Their carbonara is on point. Yeah.
Yeah. And
the other carbonara that I like, in fact, that we actually order more, is Pariah Belgravia.
Okay. Yes, Pariah Belgravia makes the best pizza.
Guys.
For me, it makes the best pizza.
Yeah.
I had the pleasure of actually having pasta in Italy.
Okay. Okay, now you're bragging. Let's move on. It's okay.
Saka, there's a certain when that happened to me, my life changed. I may not eat pasta. I have an olive oil in a cheese and this. I was more. That's why I like Little Italy is like one of my things that I need to do definitely sooner.
Okay. Cool. Favorite food?
Favorite food is a French dish called cordon bleu.
Okay.
It's like a meat sandwich. So it's you can use pork fillet or you can use chicken breast. It's like ultra chicken breast. Then you cut it open. Then you put ham and cheese in between, and then you like close it, and then you put a toothpick, and then you like cook it.
Okay, like that.
Yeah, and then I usually love to have that with like an egg salad, but eggs have to be from McDonald's.
Okay. So, you said sandwich. So is the chicken breast
that's the bread.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that can be pork as well. So the first time I had it, it was actually pork.
Okay.
Yeah, it was actually pork, and you can use different things.
You had it cooked France.
No. Apparently the Germans cook it better than the French, but
okay.
But I had that every time I go there. I make it.
Okay.
That's amazing.
Do you have one memory that cracks you up every time you think about it?
Cracks me up like I cry.
No, like
I laugh.
Yeah.
I have a lot. A memory. Shucks.
One. Just pick one. One
memory okay, the memory that cracks me up. Because I will never buy yellow underwear.
Why would a man buy yellow underwear?
I was 14. That's too again, Sagachi, I slept in my yellow underwear. And then there was a big But at the time we were staying in my room, we were staying that it's Koma Jangi.
Yo!
Koma Jangi is like, it's high density, so the houses are close to each other. Then Bavai is Zutobuda. Zutobuda, I'm going to throw a lot of stuff, I some dish. So my mother's screaming, and she's like, Baba! For some reason, when I'm angry, I switch to Ndebele. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know how it happens. So I'm up and I'm in my yellow underwear by the door going, and my siblings were watching me. So every time, they have a nickname for that underwear. So every time we talk about like just funny moments in our family, that story has to come up.
Yeah.
Because they're like, Prayer and his yellow underwear. You know, so I've never, ever since that time.
Wow.
That's that's for me. That's
Kryptonite.
Definitely.
Okay, Silk Sonic. If you were to make your own version, and you would be the one person on the other side, who internationally would be
my collabo?
Yeah.
Collabo?
Yeah. Do you know, I've got one in my mind, but I'll let you.
Okay. For me, I mean, it would have to be Sharks, because I have to pick two at least.
Okay, I also have two. So
okay,
it's okay.
Cool, great. For female, it would be Jasmine Sullivan. Jasmine Sullivan's got an amazing, like the way she writes and the way she sings is crazy. Jasmine Sullivan would be my first choice. I mean, there's some that I would love to sing, like Brandy and her would also be in the same class.
Now I should go with three. That's two. African men. One.
Okay, Jasmine Sullivan. I'd pick her.
Okay.
And then if it's a male collab, then I would say
Munu.
Masego.
Okay.
Masego. Because his vibe is like, it's dope, man.
For me,
right,
it's two. It's either her or Janae.
Janae Aiko.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Janae Aiko's.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I think those two for me would be.
Janae Aiko, I love the way she writes.
Yeah.
It's so effortless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And locally,
I'd love to do a song with Natty O.
No, like a whole album.
A whole album?
Yeah, like a Silk Sonic.
I would definitely do a whole album with Natty O.
Yeah, but Natty Anima vibes.
Yeah. I mean, for male, if it's a male artist.
No, an artist is an artist.
Okay. Yeah.
Artist is
I'm just negotiating.
Yeah. Yeah, but Natty is a good. Do you know there's that song of his, Soldier? That Changoramba Chibuda Wangezwa. Yeah.
No, he's actually a brilliant artist. He's a brilliant artist, and I think he's just building. Like, we're definitely going to be listening to his music like years from now.
Yeah.
For me, he's one of the most talented artists. So I would definitely do an album with Natty O, because I feel like he's also got so many layers we haven't even listened to. Because I'd love to hear Natty O do something on a beat that I would come up with, like a neo soul, because I think he can pull it off. Yeah. And I love reggae music. Yeah. So I've got like some reggae intonation. Yeah. And being able to be with someone whose strong point is that would be like a plus. So I feel like I could easily do Natty O for sure.
So Natty O. What?
Yeah, no, I will definitely make it. I will definitely make that.
And with that, we thank you for tuning in, and watch out for the next one.
Absolutely. Guys, in the comment section, please say something about what music. Say something in the comment section, please. And like and subscribe. Picturehub. I really like it.